Welcome back to the homestead, everybody. Today we're in the raised bed garden because I'm going to show you how to build this A-frame trellis that you see behind me. We've tried all sorts of trellising on these raised beds. We have one behind me that is made out of hog panel that is just a wall on the side of the raised bed. We've used that in the past. We don't particularly love that method. We also have these kind of trellis hoops that we built. These are cool aesthetically because we can have some plants climb over the top of them and just add that extra effect to the garden, which is always beautiful. So there's all sorts of different ways that you can trellis your plants, but I'm super excited about this A-frame method because I think we're gonna get more production and better health out of our plants by using this type of trellis. If you have our style raised bed, which is 12 feet long, these panels are gonna be perfect because they're 5 feet wide and just over 4 feet tall. In our case, we have this separator or tie that's in between to hold the bed together. So instead of doing it full length across, obviously we have to do one trellis on one side and then split it now for the next side. So let's jump right into this project and I'll show you how we build this A-frame trellis. So I found the easiest way to cut through this hog panel is to use some bolt cutters. You can grind through these. There's all sorts of different ways you can cut it. But in our case today, we're gonna use some bolt cutters. Like I said, it's just over 5 feet wide. So what we're gonna do is just count out 8 squares. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we'll cut right after our 8th square. All right, we got one side cut. I'll set this one off to the side. We will go ahead and cut our next length. Okay, now all we're gonna do is set these up into an A-frame, and all I do is I take the smaller squares or the skinnier squares and I put them at the bottom. Just so that when you're trellising, whatever you're trellising, it has more things to catch on to as it goes up. Okay, so when you're setting your A-frame up, there's a couple things you want to keep in mind. There's actually these bars, they face one side, so they're just welded on one side. So make sure those welds or those bars are facing each other so that when you attach, you're attaching flush and you're not attaching with a bar behind the bars. Now, one trick to connecting these hog panels together is actually using hog rings. These are just nose rings for like ringing a pig. That's all it is. And then this is a hog ring tool. It's got some impressions on the inside of where it squeezes. And all you do is set your ring inside your tool. You can find this at Tractor Supply. I'll leave a link to where you can find one on Amazon as well. But this is super handy when you're putting these things together. So instead of using wire and twisting it around, it takes 2 seconds. You take a hog ring and you just put it on. So I'll show you. You want to make sure everything's even where you want it, and then you just smash it on just like that, and it's together. You can see it creates this kind of like triangle basically. I mean, it's cinched down here and it's almost cinched completely down. You can actually adjust your tool to get this fully and completely smashed, but I like to leave a little bit of room so that this thing can kind of move around a little bit, so that when I'm messing with it, I need to fold it up and put it away for the season. This stays loose. Okay, we'll go 2 over. So right here, we got our ring tool. Put it over both edges. smash it down. Okay, now that we got our top all secured, the next thing you're going to want to do is make sure that your distance on the bottom of your A-frame is exactly where you want it. You need to make sure that you have enough room to plant on either side of your A-frame. It's away from the sides of your bed enough. And once you have that set, then we're going to do the next step, which is all you're going to do is take a roll of wire like this, pick this up at your local big box store, anywhere. I'll leave a link in the description below on one that I found on Amazon. And you're gonna take this wire, measure out a decent distance with enough overhang on each side to twist it, because we're gonna twist it around the bottom of our cattle panel. And then just cut it. Once you have it cut, all we're gonna do, take this, twist it around the bottom. Now guys, remember, this doesn't have to be super tight or anything. All this is doing is not allowing the A-frame to go any wider than where we want it. Secure that side, make sure we're still at a good distance. Now we're just gonna come down here and do the exact same thing. You know, one great thing about this trellising method is obviously you see we got a big space in between here that's going to be shaded. And what we could do is we could plant some lettuces in here, some kind of crop that really enjoys the shade, and instead of losing all this space in the center, we can actually produce food in there. All right, so we got our bottom wire on. The next step, and this is the last step, super easy guys. You're gonna take some ground staples and get these at your local gardening store or wherever. And we're just gonna smash these into the ends just so that it adds a little bit more protection if the wind were to catch this or something like that, that it's not gonna blow or move or destroy the roots of our crops that are planted on the side here. And I'm gonna do 3 on each side. Okay guys, that's it. That is how you make an A-frame trellis. We are super excited about this trellising method this year, so we'll do some updates on our Instagram page on how this is working for us. But the next step for us here is we're gonna grab some cucumbers, we're gonna plant them along the edges, and we're gonna enjoy the growing season. Guys, if you like this video, if you learned something new, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell next to it, hit all. You'll receive all of our notifications when we release videos in the future. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.